Title: Stop tilling after first fall rain. 1. Rain worm leaf system. Doubles food, smothers weeds. You till right after the first fall rain. 2 weeks later, a carpet of weeds, crusted soil, dry beds again. Then you water more and harvest less. In zones 7 to 10, I see the same pattern. Tilled, bare beds yield smaller, thirstier crops. Switch the timing and the method and you get 1.5 to 2x the cool season harvests, with 30 to 50% less irrigation under a 3 to 4 inch shredded leaf mulch, and 80 to 95% fewer weed seedlings making it through. The problem isn't you, it's the system you were taught. Here's the system that flips it. 5 parts. In order. Simple.
Timing gate. Most people till right after the first real fall rain. Don't. When that first soaking rain hits, you step on paths only. No tilling, no flipping. Why this works? Rain is the wake-up call. Dormant weed seeds sense moisture and oxygen near the surface. Tilling after rain bathes them in air and light. It's a green explosion you caused. Fungal networks also wake up with moisture. You either protect them or shred them. If you leave the soil intact and stay off the beds, you keep the mycelium and pore structure that move air, water, and nutrients. Your first move is restraint. Let the soil breathe without being ripped open. You keep moisture in. You keep biology alive. You don't pay for a weed flush you created.
Zones từ 7 đến 10. This is your window. First soaking fall rain, not a sprinkle. Work with storms, not dates. Colder zones. Wait for the first real autumn soak before freeze up, then do the same steps faster. Hotter zones. Catch the first fall downpour and start. You'll top off mulch as more leaves drop. 2. No till aeration. The old habit is flipping the soil to add air. What you really do is break aggregates, rip roots, and collapse worm channels. Use a broadfork or garden fork to loosen without turning. Sink the tines, rock back, lift gently. Move a foot and repeat, then rake the surface level.
Why this works. You open vertical air and water lanes while leaving the soil layers in place. Pores, roots, and wormholes survive. Oxygen reaches microbes without exposing the seed bank or drying the bed. You protect structure that took seasons to build. You get infiltration, not runoff. You get oxygen, not desiccation. You're setting the table for leaves and worms to do the rest. 3. Leaf blanket. Common mistake. Bag leaves for the curb or dump them in a thick mat that goes sour. Shred your leaves. Lay 3 to 4 inches across the bed, then moisten the blanket.
Why this works? Shredded leaves interlock but don't smother the soil. Water slips through, then stays put. Fungi climb into the carbon and start weaving it into soil. Worms come up and shred. Weeds can't push through a consistent fibrous cover. That's your 80 to 95% reduction in weed seedlings. It's physics. Soft stems meet a springy, dry surface. Moisture loss drops. Plan on 30 to 50% less irrigation under a 3 to 4 inch shredded leaf mulch because you reduce evaporation and heat swings. Numbers you can use. 6 to 8 contractor bags of leaves will mulch 100 square feet at that 3 to 4 inch depth. That's a weekend, not a season. 4. Worm feed lanes. Another common mistake, spread hot, unfinished compost across the whole bed. Don't heat the bed. Feed it in lines. Lay thin ribbons of compost or spent coffee grounds under the leaf mulch, right where roots will live. Not a mountain, just a light, continuous lane.
Why this works? Worms follow the food. Lanes concentrate their traffic. Castings pile exactly where roots need them. Your fertilizer becomes a living conveyor belt. You avoid nitro burn and overheating. Microbes stay aerobic under the leaves, moving slow and steady. By spring, earthworm counts often double in these beds. You can measure a 0.25 to 0.5 inch chocolate layer of castings on top when you peel the mulch back. That's free fertility you didn't haul or buy.
5. Plant through. Old habit, seed the bed bare, then mulch later. You just fed weeds and dried out your germination zone. Do the opposite. Pull back the leaf blanket, seed or plug, then recover lightly. Why this works? Seeds need air and contact. They don't need full sun on naked soil that swings 30 degrees in a day. Plant through keeps the root zone cool, evenly moist, and alive. You only expose small strips. Seedlings come up into a protected microclimate. You reduce crusting, drying, and transplant shock. You also keep stimulating the fungal network instead of resetting it. Now, the loop that makes this compound. First fall rain wakes the biology. You didn't till, so fungi and pores are intact. You lay shredded leaves. Worms and microbes start eating. Leaves feed microbes. Worms shred and drag pieces down. Castings accumulate right under your plants. The soil holds more water the next storm because pore space and organic matter increase. More moisture and castings mean faster growth and a bigger canopy through the cool season. Bigger canopies drop more leaves in your yard and neighborhood next fall. That's more mulch for free. Fewer weeds break through the blanket, so you disturb less. Less disturbance means stronger fungi worm networks next year. Even fewer weeds, even better structure. This is a self-reinforcing loop.
This isn't theory. In zones to bite 10, gardeners running this simple sequence see 1.5 to 2x the cool season harvest compared to tilled bare beds. Not because they bought inputs, because they stopped breaking the system. They also report watering 30 to 50% less under a consistent 3 to 4 inch shredded leaf blanket. That's irrigation you don't pay for. Keep the blanket consistent and you block 80 to 95% of weed seedlings. That's time and knees you don't spend. Collect 6 to 8 contractor bags per 100 square feet and you've set your beds for the season. By spring, worm counts double and you can scrape 0.25 to 0.5 inches of pure castings off the surface. That's plant-ready nutrition with no salt load and no guesswork.
Why it all works. Plain biology and physics. Tillage after rain injects oxygen fast, feeding a bacteria spike that burns carbon and dries soil while exposing seeds. No tillage keeps air slow and steady. Shredded leaves are carbon with surface area. Fungi eat carbon first. Their hyphae glue soil into crumbs that hold water and resist erosion. Worms are your tillage. They build channels that drain storms and store moisture. Their castings hold water like a sponge and lock up nutrients until roots ask. The blanket interrupts light at the soil surface. Weeds need light cues to germinate and push. You remove the cue. Plant through keeps the top inch humid and breathable so seeds don't crust over or fry in midday sun.
Quick climate notes. Zones từ 7 đến 10. Work with the first real fall soak. If leaves fall before the big storm, stockpile and shred dry. As soon as it rains, lay them and wet the blanket in. Colder than 7, same order, tighter window. Get the leaf blanket on after the first autumn soak and before deep freeze. You'll still see the spring worm bump. Hotter than 10, start at the first fall rain you get. Top up the blanket as more leaves drop. Keep it shredded so it breathes in warm nights. What to do this week? Wait for the first soaking fall rain. Not a sprinkle, a real storm that wets the 4 to 6 inches deep. The next dry hour, stay off the beds except for paths. No tilling. Loosen with a broadfork or garden fork without flipping. Rake the surface level. Shred leaves. Lay 3 to 4 inches across the bed. Then moisten the blanket so it knits. Tuck in worm feed lanes, a thin ribbon of compost or coffee grounds under the mulch where you'll plant. Pull back mulch in narrow strips. Seed your cool season crops or set transplants. Recover lightly around stems. Water once to settle, then water less. Let the blanket and biology do their job. Keep stepping only on paths. Don't break what's working. 2 lines to remember. Wait for rain, then mulch, don't till. Leaves plus worms plus rain equals free fertility, fewer weeds, more food.